Don Quixote from No Frills. We are going to skip the looping percussion deal and start the song at 13 seconds. All right, a real simple deal here. It's an A5 chord going to an A6 chord, basically, which is an F sharp note here. It's just kind of like a, the world's worst guitar lick. So he is being quite judicious, I should say, with his affect on this, because he's got the percussion behind him, so he's playing it a bit more pulled back. You can hear that A come in sometimes when he's playing the 6. If you're playing this solo acoustic, which I've done many times, you can't really do it that way. You're gonna have to keep that A going pretty much throughout. Otherwise, I just don't think it works. You need to fill out the space, which he's doing with the not only just the percussion but the reverb that he's using. So my advice to you is just fill the space a bit more there. Okay, the vocal comes in around 30 seconds or so, and there's nothing technical about what happens, but the timing is tricky. So I want to play through that once for you, and then I'm going to show you what he's doing. So we're going to restart this at 26 seconds and break into the vocal here. Okay, so what's happening there is we have two new chords, an F sharp 5, which is played on the middle 2 strings on the 4th fret and 6th fret, and an A5 on the 7th and 9th fret. So we have two versions of an A5. An octave apart. Now, what he's doing is, as soon as the vocal comes in, your mind, that's when you go to that chord. As soon as you hear the word your, boom, there we go. Your mind can play tricks, makes you, right? Your mind can play, whoops, your mind can play tricks. So that's what you have to get into your head. As soon as the vocal starts, go to that chord. The high part of the melody is going to be here. Your mind can play tricks. So what you've got to do is you've got to get the groove from the... Okay, so he does that twice, the F sharp 5 and A5 here. That's twice. The third time is just once on the F sharp and then back down into the intro riff, right? And all you have to do is get the timing, as I've said. So let's re-listen to that. We're going to come in around 28 seconds here. And try not to sneeze, goodness. And let's listen to that again. There we go. All right, so that will take a little bit of practice. Now, we go into a kind of a pre-chorus part, except the pre-chorus the first time leads us back to the verse. The second time the pre-chorus leads us to the chorus. So let's listen to that really quick. We go scoot back a little bit here.
You saw them on TV.
Cool. So what do we got there? It is an F sharp minor chord, played in a very interesting way, I guess. Rather than playing it like that, we are playing it like this, with our thumb catching the F sharp, the low F sharp, and our index finger catching the A note right there. And then these two fingers are taking care of the C sharp and the F sharp. And that leaves your E and your B open. So you really are getting an F sharp minor 7 add 4 chord, which is the same chord in the opening of Somebody Loves You. I have a video for that you should check out from the No Frills record. Same chord. And he will bring those notes in a bit later, but on this part he's just doing a that little part, right? No time at all. So what you have to do there is you need to choke the chord. Which is a combination of right hand muting and choking with your left hand. I know most of you guys usually choke with your right hand, but you're going to have to learn to do it with your left hand here. So what you're going to do is, as soon as you hit that chord, just let the pressure off. You can watch my fingers on my left hand here. So when you hit that, just release it to kill the... And that's even without my right hand on the strings. I'll probably also use my... what the hell, whatever that ridge of your hand is, whatever that part of your hand is called, to kind of choke it as well. And then back to it. Does that twice. Watch the rhythm there, right? The rhythm is a bit tricky. I'm not going to go into an analysis of the timing and the rhythm there. It's just got to just feel your way through it. And then we go back through another verse again. So coming out of that part there, let's listen to that again.
Save the world back again. Superman will be slain. Save the world back again. Here I am.
So again, it's real tricky to catch that. You got to remember where that vocal is, and remember your hands need to be, your hand needs to be right there when that vocal comes in. So that leads us through the next verse, which we'll skip through, and we'll come back to the F sharp bit here. Let's find that. I think it's right here. Yeah, go. Chorus. So, again, nothing really technical here. Just gotta get through the chords. So coming out of the pre-chorus, we go back to the riff one time, and then we kick into the chorus. All right. So the chords are up on the screen for you. Nothing really fancy here. He brings his finger off like that the last time. So you hammer on from nowhere to the E. All right. Second time around, we have this time, this F is an F major 7, which means you have an open E, right? In the scale of F major, the E is the 7th note. So that's why I'm playing the F chord like this and not like this. So your thumb will take care of the low F, and then you'll make this chord here, which many of you probably know very well, and then you have an open E note on the bottom. Really hear, I'll play it again in a second, that he's emphasizing that major 7 quite a lot. And then he takes us back to the F sharp minor 7 add 4. But what he does here is he does a kind of a, and then he's hitting those open strings on the bottom, and he's got delay on that. Right? So you get kind of a So listen to the end of that chorus. Right here, listen. You hear that? That's the 7 in the F major 7 you're hearing. He's really emphasizing that. And then back to hear it. All right, so an option here for you, if you can't get that cleanly without with keeping the chord shape, right? See how my hand is keeping the chord shape here. If you can't get it clean, just play the, and then just throw your thumb over it. You know, but just practice it. The hardest thing not to do is hit the fretboard. The fretboard, for fuck's sake. The body of the guitar. Trying to get that. I would suggest play it as an upstroke. And you can hear there's also a bit of, sounds a bit like Nuno, right? It's definitely something Nuno would play. So that's the chorus. Back into the verse. So the chords real easy. B minor 7, B minor will also work there. Either one is fine. Harmonically, so I would say the key change from the verse in A goes to a D, G, C, B minor. I would call that D major with a flat 7, so like a D mixolydian. So you know normally in the scale of D major, you have a C sharp minor or C sharp minor 7 flat 5, right? You'd have that chord in the key of, right? That leads us back to major 1, right? The D major chord. In rock and pop, a lot of you probably know this, that you often have a flat 7 chord, like AC/DC, Live and Die with that. Think of the key of A anytime you hear a G chord. In the key of E, anytime you hear a D chord. So songs like Panama or, I don't know. There's a ton of songs that have this shit in it. So This song also does too. So the D, so the up to that B minor, I would say we're in D, and then after the B minor we have A, D, G, C, F, C. I would call that C major because all those notes there are diatonic to C major. If you wanted to call it A minor, I wouldn't be mad at you, right? Because it does have a bit of a minor feel to it. And then the chorus repeats again, D, G, C, B minor, right? Again, that's going back to D, and then we hit the A minor, D, C, and then F. Sorry, is it A minor, D, G, C, and F? Again, you could call it A minor, you could call it C major. The first time around, I would definitely say it's in C because it ends on a C. This time it ends on an F, so it doesn't really resolve back to a root. So again, you know, to some degree, analysis of music is subjective, and here I would say A minor or C will be fine if that's how you want to gloss it. So that's it, right? And that takes us back to, again, the F sharp minor 7, add 4. Do your little open string thing there. If you have a delay pedal on your pedal board when you're playing acoustic, you could throw that on for that little part there and impress your friends and neighbors. Or sing this to your chick and she'll love it, right? So then we're at the minute marker here is 237, and we are back into another verse. You know what? Listen. You know what he does in this second verse? Listen to it. Sneaky little bastard.
You fucking sneaky bastard.
You know what he does here? The first verse, we established that he does the... So the third time on that F sharp, he moves it back down to A, right? In the second verse, he doesn't do that. The second verse, he comes in... He doesn't do the F sharp the third time. He just stays down here. The second verse is very short because the first verse is very, very long. So let me play that one more time, and let's listen to what this crazy bastard does here. You hear? See, he doesn't go up to that high F sharp on the second verse. For the life of me, I don't know why, but that's why Nick is Nick, and that's why he's awesome. So that takes us back to a... Alright, so this is when he starts to play his little looping game here. So out of that last chorus, goes back to the F sharp. He's playing it quietly. Right? That is really cool. So very quiet on the F major 7. God, I slouch so much when I do these videos, jeez. Makes me look all fat and shit. So, that's very cool. And then you hear an A chord. Now he starts to do his looping stuff. I'm going to show you what he's doing, just out of courtesy, if you want to learn how to do it. So let's just listen to this. He's going to be playing up here on an E sus4, basically. First note's going to be a B right here. So it's make an E power chord, right? Just walk it down the chord and play the sus4, which is an A. So you have a B, an E, a G sharp, and an A note there. That's that first part. And he loops that. Okay, so then we can hear the famous Don Quixote bass riff. Let's listen to that again. So that's real famous from the original, right? Because the original has that looping, and the original's in G, and it goes something like something like that. I haven't played it in God knows how long. So he's playing it in A here, and he's doing it slightly differently, and you get this. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing there, but it's something like that. I'm a bit biased from playing it the old school way, so I'll show you kind of how I would do it, and then you can modify it to suit your fancy. So you have an A note to start, bass and the A note, and then you have an F sharp to E, but use palm muting. Don't do that. Right? And then what I would do here, just because I like the sound of it, is do a run up the A string, A, B, C sharp. So you have now and then back down to E here. So I get lost when I break it down slow. Okay, and then back down to C sharp. So like that. And the last part is he does a little bit of vibrato there on the F sharp, E to G, C sharp. Now I don't think he's doing that B note in there. He's playing it, I think, more like, which is fine. Just listen to it, you know. But this is the way I would recommend it. Because it sounds old school, and I'm old school. I was a kid when that first one came out, right? And it's kind of buried in my head and my fingers. Tab for this will be on the screen, no sweat. So there's that part, and then you'll hear him doing some other stuff. Let's scoot back a bit. that little part there, he starts off, I think, using a... It's what he's doing there is he plays three little things. So the first part is, if you know in this chord, this is A major. It's just C, moved all the way up here. Right, so it's basically just a C chord. You have that note right there to make it a full. So it's an A major. You could make the triad version, right? Joe Walsh's favorite chord. And you could also just do a dyad version right here, which is again kind of a modified piece of that E sus or a piece of an A major. So you have this kind of a, and then he hits that note right there, which is a C sharp. So you could call that an A over C sharp. And then he moves it up to, yeah, then he moves it up here, which is this, that's the same thing. Yeah, and then he's doing that, he's hitting that chord, which is an A chord, right there. Those two notes right there, C sharp and A. And then he pulls it back down to that F sharp right there. So if this guitar was a cutaway, you could make an F sharp chord at the 14th fret, but on this guitar I can't do that like that. So let's listen to that again.
Don Quixote.
All right.
Don Quixote.
I thought he was doing three little chordal pieces, but maybe it's just two. So that'll work, right? That's all it is there. But the looping bit, I don't know how interesting that is to any of you. So that's that. The ending here, let's... A sus2. A sus2 to end it. So, not quite straightforward, that one, because of all that looping shit at the end. So you can just eschew that, skip it. But the rest of the song, again, basic. Just follow that rhythm bit we talked about coming out of the riff into the vocal part, and you'll be good to go. So as always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you down the road.